Got that? All right.
Got it.
Give it just a second to get everybody up and going. So we iron out some of our shenanigans pre-show. Some of my favorite conversations that we have don't even happen on this show. They happen before the show because Scott, Tom, and I are so damn ornery. Who are we? We are MHI, where we're letting everybody come on in, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X. We appreciate wherever you listen to our podcast. Every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Mountain in God's country, aka Broncos country, where Tom, your Denver Broncos are on an 8-game winning streak. They remain undefeated at home. They're coming out of the bye week. First place in AFC West. Sunday Night Football against the Washington Commanders. Tom, you talked about it. I know you want to get some victory laps. Let me serve you up a softball pitch, Thomas Hall. You said by the bye, this team could be, 9-2? And here they are. We're looking good. We're feeling good. It's Thanksgiving, baby.
I know, 9-2. Like, that's what I was hoping for. 9-2, and that you put that nail in the coffin for the Chiefs right before the bye. Because I know people are still like, oh, the Chiefs are going to go to the playoffs, blah, blah. They basically have to. They can only lose one more game, or they're probably not going to, because they lost to the Jaguars and they lost to another team in front of them. They have to win out almost to go to the playoffs. So I'm pretty happy with the shakeup. I mean, they're not going to win the AFC West for sure. Broncos probably got that handled, and they may have knocked the Chiefs completely out of the playoffs with that victory, 22 I mean, great win. I don't care if it was, by a couple points or by 20. That was a big win.
No, 100%. You're seeing real-time maturation and growth, and you can't tell me it's just against the scrubs of the NFL. We can talk about strength of schedule if you want, but when you look at it, and I think the broadcast crew brought it up, Tony Romo, Jim Nantz, haven't they been on the call, the last 2 weeks for the Denver Broncos? They're saying, look, the Denver Broncos just beat the last 2 teams in the Super Bowl from the previous season. They are no joke. It will be interesting to see how Sean Payton and Bo Nix respond after a bye week, and we're going to talk about it in this show. The practice report came out. I know a lot of people are wondering which defensive starters at least return to practice. We're going to get into that and more, but before we do, let's say what's up to Broncos country. They make this show go, including our guy David. What's up, David? Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Good evening, Broncos country. 13-4. David, you've been calling it all season. Every night, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Mountain. The flag is there. 13-4. The Broncos are 9-2. We can look at the remaining schedule. I'd rather not do that, Tom, because I'm gonna get nervous. This team likes to give us all kinds of heart attacks. We're gonna preview the Washington game a little bit, but I can't help but be thankful for this Broncos team right now. We're on the eve of Thanksgiving. We want to know what you're thankful for, Broncos country. This has been one hell of a season, especially after the Broncos started 1-2. No one saw this coming.
Yeah, no, I mean, they hit a stride, and they just couldn't lose, even though they tried a few times, it seemed like, but they just couldn't lose. And man, it's and people are saying they're not as good as their record and all this stuff, but Bill Parcells said it. You are what your record says you are. They're 9-2. The only reason they are not leading the entire AFC West with the number 1 seed is because they had a bye and New England didn't and won. So it is refreshing to see a Broncos team in the playoffs, squarely in the playoffs, but also headed maybe for that number 1 seed, it's been a long time.
Well, and it's funny, by the way, too, right? You're talking about the people that are questioning the Broncos record. Are they a false positive? Are they not undeserving, if you will, of 9-2, trying to figure things out? But my favorite is Sean Payton at the podium. Whenever somebody gets after the Broncos and they're like, Coach, you're 9-2, but, and he's like, no buts, we're 9-2. You know what I mean? And he gets after him, and he should. And he is defending a team that is winning football games. A team that is still undefeated in prime time. Say what you will. It was a blowout on Monday Night Football against the Bengals. Nasty 10-7 game against the Raiders on Thursday Night Football. And man, Thursday Night Football, it's getting some bad looks the last few weeks. I don't know. Maybe the NFL is going to have to take a look into this. I know we love primetime games, but if the product is truly what it is, the Broncos have some making up to do in Washington if they want to get some national respect. It's the final game in the month of November, right? November 30th, I believe. So we're literally turning the page into December, and the Broncos have an opportunity to extend their winning streak to 9 games. They would, of course, sweep the entire NFC East if they can beat the Washington Commanders on Sunday Night Football. And with an 8-game win streak, with all this love, with all this happiness, this Thanksgiving, if you will, comes some of the spoils. And we're starting to see that. You're looking at 3 Denver Broncos in the last 5-6 days that just got contract extensions. And we can talk about the man with ice veins, Will Lutz, coming in here, man, and getting a fat contract for a kicker. I absolutely love it. 3 years, $16.1 million extended. Luke Wattenberg, we're going to get into that. He was extended yesterday. I heard the fellas talking about Luke Wattenberg. I understand, Tom, that the Broncos offensive line, the starting 5, they're locked up. So what you see is what you get, at least for now, with Bo Nix in the starting 5. And of course, today, Malcolm Roach got paid. How exciting for the Denver Broncos to start rewarding some of their guys for all the hard work, for the winning.
Yeah, I love that Roach got a deal. And there's a couple reasons. Number one, he's already came to Denver starting his prime. Defensive linemen, it's usually around 26 years old. You really start to hit that stride for defensive linemen. He's going to be, and you're going to see his entire prime really with the Denver Broncos. So they hit it just right. So number one, you're going to see probably a better Malcolm Roach over the next few years because he's like I said, this is his prime years. Number two, there's nobody behind DJ Jones. It was just him. When you look at Jonathan Franklin Myers, you got a Wazirike, who they love, and I know you give me crap about it, but the team loves him. They drafted Savion Jones. There are people that are kind of waiting in the wings. There was nobody waiting in the wings for DJ Jones, who is outside his prime and is, he's playing. I know they've got a contract that's only a year apart, but he's going to get less and less playing time as Malcolm Roach comes in and plays a little bit more over the next couple of years. So I think it was a perfect timing to get Roach. They got it for a really good deal, I thought, for what he's probably going to bring to this team. And it's good to see that they're taking care of these guys who have really helped them tremendously in this newfound winning ways of the Denver Broncos.
Well, and it's motivating, too, when you look at it for guys that are up and coming. And we can talk John Franklin Myers. We can talk some of these other contract forecasts, if you will. But the point is, if you come in as an underdog for the Denver Broncos and you put out, perform, and win games, chances are Sean Payton and George are going to want you to stay. And guys, speaking of underdog football season, well, it's in full swing. Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Are you ready to get off the bench and into the game? Head on over to Underdog. Whether you're into basketball, football, hockey, or any sport in between, Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action all season long. And yes, it's that time again. Feast week is back on Underdog. From November 26th through November 30th, check the app daily for special promos.
That's right. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash.
Boom, guys. I have so much fun playing Underdog and winning money while watching football. Well, that's a touchdown. Download the Underdog app today. Sign up with the promo code MHuddle to score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code MHuddle. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next?
Be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Boom. Broncos country. It's MHI, where we are reacting to some Chiefs leftovers. Broncos coming off the bye. We've got extensions. We've got players returning to practice. Life is good here in Thanksgiving MHI edition. And our good dear friend of the show, Deanna Hendry, thank you very, very much. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. An exclusive member of the MHH community, a generous $49.99 super chat. Hi, Thomas and Luke. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I'm glad we're 9-2. can't wait to win over Washington. I love these extensions. Go Broncos. Deanna, let us know your favorite extension so far. We've got Will Lutz, Luke Wattenberg, and Malcolm Roach all within the last handful of days. It may have been a bye week for the Denver Broncos, but when I hear that Patrick Surtain and Alex Singleton, as well as Jonah Ellis, returned to practice today, Tom, and then George and Sean are getting contract extensions done, the Broncos hardly took any time to rest during the bye week. They're taking care of business.
Yeah, and it's awesome to see PS2 back. You know, they took a bit of a risk thinking, okay, if he's back in 4 weeks, then we're not going to put him on IR because we've got that bye. And it looks like that paid off. He's not going to miss 4 games. He's only going to miss 3. And to have them win these games without the reigning defensive player of the year, their best player on this team, that shows a lot of depth, which is amazing. So when I look at this team, knowing that they can do that they have the depth to do that it gives me hope that, you know, through the playoffs, they're going to have people that are rested because they're getting some rest in games and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited about it. And Deanna, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you for your support here. Really appreciate it. But I would like to talk a little bit more about the extensions and namely about someone who is kind of on the outside, and it's Jonathan Franklin Myers. He is the one guy that everybody's kind of saying, look at what he's producing. Why isn't he getting an extension? He has been a key in this pass rush. I know he doesn't have the most sacks, but he has been a key in this pass rush. Why are they not putting a priority on him? I have my thoughts on it. And I kind of mentioned that before. They've got people waiting in the wings, but I think he's due for a bigger payday than they want to pay him. That's my biggest. That's why I think it's happening, because Roach took a good, seems like a team friendly deal. I think Jonathan Franklin Myers knows this is his last time to get that big contract, and I think he wants about $15 million a year.
Yeah, I think you're right, and that obviously popped up, and it was cool to see John Franklin Myers show respect and love to his guy today. That had to be tough on one hand for the business side, but you want to see your people do well, right? And he went out there on X on social media and excuse me, you can check it out. John Franklin Myers giving love to Malcolm Roach, saying, I'm happy for my guy. I'm happy for my teammate. I'm happy for my brother. But you gotta wonder too, when John Franklin Myers is sitting around his Thanksgiving table tomorrow, he's thinking, wonder where mine's at. And I wonder who's going to give it to me and when I'm going to get it. And he's right to think that. Now, I think you're right, Tom. I think it feels like John Franklin Myers could try to get that big payday. Maybe you see him bounce around a little bit. Then again, John Franklin Myers should know better. He came from the New York Jets, right? What a pickup by the Denver Broncos trading to get him in here, just like Malcolm Roach too, right? Coming from the New Orleans Saints. Good nabs by Sean Payton. And I know we tend to give Sean a lot of hell for always leaning back on his New Orleans guys, but a few of them are actually doing pretty well for the Broncos. And you look at Malcolm Roach, and he just happens to be one of them. I think it's interesting, too, when you talk about Awuzurike. I think they would like to get a deal done with Awuzurike. I think they're hoping to see more production out of him, and maybe he could get a team-friendly deal. I'm not looking for anything insane, and that's not what we're looking at here when you're looking at all three of these guys, and Will Lutz, Luke Wattenberg, and Malcolm Roach. Yeah. For me, I was a little surprised. I shouldn't be with Luke Wattenberg, right? I am definitely not the biggest Luke Wattenberg fan. I had somebody asking me on Facebook, man, can't wait to tune in to MHI tonight and get your reaction on the Luke Wattenberg contract. And I think after having to sit with it for a day, I think the first word that I would say is congratulations, right? I think it's hard for a 5th-round pick and in 2022 to earn a starting center position in a Sean Payton Denver Broncos offense and start in 2024, hang on to the position throughout training camp, become the guy, prove to Sean that he's the guy. He doesn't have to prove to me that he's the guy. Ain't no way. But he seems to be doing quite well with Bo Nix and Sean Payton. It's not necessarily a move that I would have loved to see. But then again, Tom, finding centers and interior offensive linemen in the draft that are ready to go on a playoff offense, they just don't exist.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not a big fan of Wattenberg. I mean, I was writing an article about how they could replace him at the trade deadline, but he has improved. He's gotten better. There's continuity, but this also kind of makes me wonder about Ben Powers. Now, I know Ben Powers is due to come back, but if you look at his numbers, they could probably get rid of that contract without a whole lot of pain once the new year comes around, and then go with Alex Palczewski by giving him like a second round, or I mean, not second round, like a original round tender, which you wouldn't get a draft pick for someone off, but no one's going to come in and offer it. And you're looking at, just about $3 million for that tender. Maybe they're going to go that route. So they wanted more continuity. They wanted Wattenberg to stick around because I don't know. It just seems like Ben Powers may be the odd man out in this.
Well, to be fair to your
offensive
point,
line.
just while I glance at it, that's about a $1 million difference between them per year in contract. So Luke
Yep.
Wattenberg sitting approximately at 12 mil and Ben Powers at 13 mil. So to your point, right? I mean, how much do they consider both of them the lesser players on the offensive line? I think the money sits there. You look at Quinn Miners, 18 mil per year, Mike McGlinchey, 17.5, and of course you got Bolsey sitting at 20.5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody says you got to invest in the trenches, and then everyone's like, well, wait a minute, you can't invest too much in the trenches. Well, which is it going to be? Are you going to bolster your trenches, or are you going to, not pay too much? And they've got to pay because these folks have played. I mean, they have went out and played really well. They've all been part of this maturation of this winning culture. And I know I give Sean Payton crap because he doesn't have this team ready to play all the time, but I will give him props for building a good team and getting them to buy in to what he's selling. And that's one of the big things that makes a good coach is being able to get everyone to buy into your strategy and watch it come play out on the field. And that's what he's been doing. And I mean, everybody's always got a great offensive mind and all that. I don't care. What he's doing is getting everybody like-minded, and everybody is working towards each other, towards the common goal. Nobody's out there, causing problems. Nobody's whining. I mean, Franklin Myers, he could be out there saying, I wanted an extension. I think this is a terrible team, blah, blah, blah. He could be bad-mouthing Sean Payton, but he's not. He's out there congratulating his buddy, his teammate, for getting an extension when he knows he's probably not going to get one.
Well, it's such a risk too if you're JFM, right? Because arguably, the better you keep playing, the more the Broncos keep winning, the more, in theory, your number should go up. Now, significant or not, that depends on, I guess, who you ask. But one injury, and that's going to make things a little tough too. And that's something JFM has to consider. But you're right. Not a lot of bad eggs on the Denver Broncos right now. Used to have a lot of bad eggs, right? Remember, Melvin Gordon getting DUIs and being a punk on the sideline. I don't need that anymore. I can remember the days where we had a punter, Marquette King, trying to fight, little radio hosts out there at training camp. I mean, those days are done, man. And thank goodness. And that's what I'm thankful for right now. The Broncos are running a professional franchise, and we got to give credit to the Walton Penner ownership group as well, right? Like, let's get in front of some of these contracts, the big ones, so that way the lesser ones we can take care of. And one of the first things I think of with Malcolm Roach is, thank goodness Zach Allen's contract was taken care of way back when. Just a few months back, because we don't have to deal with those kinds of questions. Nick Benito, we're good there. Pat Surtain last year, Quinn Miners, Jonathan Cooper. It's nice to see some progressive thinking when it comes to financial decisions with the Denver Broncos right now, especially because they're winning football games. That's and it gets me giddy. And speaking of getting me giddy, here comes Deanna Hendrian again, a very, very generous $19.99. I heard that the Broncos talked with Jonathan Franklin Miners and are waiting a while. He seems to be okay with it. Well, you're right about that. I mean, I don't know how much choice he's got in it, Deanna, but if he wants to wait and do that, and the Broncos want to wait, I guess time will tell. You can't pay everybody, but man, John Franklin Myers, Tom, you're right. Deanna's right. He's been so significant with this Broncos pass rush and even the run stuff.
Yeah. And this is my theory with John Franklin Myers. If the Broncos realize their goal, which is winning the Super Bowl, or they get bounced first round of the playoffs, Jonathan Franklin Myers is going to go somewhere else. But if they are in the AFC Championship game and they barely miss getting to the Super Bowl, I think he becomes more of a priority because they want to run it back again. They're almost there. They know he's a valuable player. They're going to be willing to pay him a little bit extra in hopes that they can get over the hump instead of trying it with somebody new. That's my theory. So they're going to wait and see where they land in the playoffs. and then maybe make a decision in the offseason, because they can still sign him in the offseason. Obviously he'll get more offers most likely, but that's still an option, and he obviously likes it here, so he may be willing to come back. But that's what I think. Like, it kind of depends on where they end the season and what they'll do with Jonathan Franklin Myers.
Well, and who knows, man? Maybe the Broncos are waiting till December, right? That's just what,
Maybe.
days away? I mean, that's the month of giving out gifts. And guys, speaking of gifts, if you were still figuring out gifts, House of Atlas, well, it's a no-brainer. Perfect for your brother, your roommate, or even yourself when someone asks what you want and you do not feel like thinking. Their grooming kits, well, they make it simple to clean up, and they actually look as good on the counter as they feel in your hand. The razor's weighted handle and precision trim edge make it effortless to get a smooth, clean shave every time. Some things most razors just don't do. Well, the best part, you can grab them at Target stores nationwide or online at target.com, so you do not have to overthink it.
Hey, sorry, Luke. I thought we were doing a different ad tonight, so hang on. Let me.
That's all right, guys. Atlas is redefining men's grooming with premium tools and products designed to look good, feel good, and actually perform. I love the razor because it feels solid in your hand. It's not flimsy like disposable razors, and the precision trim edge makes detailing under the nose, sideburns, and edges simple and precise. Beyond the shave cream and aftershave elevate the routine with their refreshing and subtle signature scent, making grooming feel more like self-care than a chore. Listen, guys, do not stress over last-minute gifts or settle for shaving products that never deliver. This holiday season, give yourself or someone on your list the upgrade they deserve with the House of Atlas. Grab it at Target stores nationwide or online at Target.com. Yeah, Tom, let's hope the Broncos offense don't come out like you come out of the bye week and dropping the ad read on us, because if they do that, do we have it in us for another fourth quarter comeback, Tom? I mean, how many more of these fourth quarter comebacks are we going to do this late in the year? Are we going to continue to push this into the postseason? Can we start to break away as we look at these remaining games, right? And you're looking at Washington, Las Vegas, Green Bay, Jacksonville, Kansas City, and LA. You look at them, and I want to put win on all of them. It's not that easy. What are you seeing from the Washington Commanders? What kind of concerns does a Washington team give you? Because, yeah, they're on a losing streak. Yeah, Jaden Daniels isn't going to be the starter. Yeah, Dan Quinn's back calling the defensive plays now for the last few weeks. They're a bit of a mess, but they're not an easy dub.
Yeah, I mean, on the road, that's what bothers me the most. Anytime you play outside of your home turf, there's, always a chance that you can drop a game, even if you're much better than that team. But the Commanders don't worry me too much. One, because it's Mariota is going to be back there instead of Jaden Daniels. With Jaden Daniels, when he's healthy and playing, he's a threat, both with his arm and his legs. I like him as a quarterback. So there's that, but that, he's not there. So it doesn't bother me. And their defense is pretty terrible, and their offense isn't that great either. So, I mean, if you go, I guess I was going to point to something. It's self-inflicted wounds that the Denver Broncos could that would make them lose in this. If they fumble the ball, they throw interceptions, give them too many chances, mess up on special teams. That's where you're going to see the Commanders, maybe steal a win. But if the Broncos are playing a good game, I don't think the Commanders can keep up with them.
They're the away favorite, and that just really rubbed me the wrong way when Kansas City came into Denver as the away favorite. It's something that shouldn't happen. Bulletin board material, maybe. You look at this Washington team, and I took a deep dive on them. My keys to victory will be out tomorrow at milehighhuddle.com. Tom, I was surprised when I found out they had the 5th best rushing attack in terms of yards per game at 138.5. They can get it going with their running backs and Ja'Cory Croskett-Merritt and Chris Rodriguez Jr. Obviously, Jaden Daniels is a rushing quarterback. Marcus Mariota used to be a rushing quarterback. Now he has to do it just to stay alive out there in Washington. So there are some scrap yards. There's some garbage time rushing there, but a 4.9 yard per carry average, something that you need to be concerned with if you're a Broncos defense. The priority for Vance Joseph this year, you would think it is just knocking the snot out of the quarterback. That's a byproduct of stopping the run. Vance Joseph's defense, it's crazy, Tom. We come in and week out, and I never thought we'd get to this point. To say that the Broncos defense stuffs the run is an understatement. They have only allowed one running back all season to get over 100 yards on him. He's arguably an offensive MVP candidate in Jonathan Taylor. He got 165 rushing yards on this Broncos defense, and since then, Denver ranks third against the rush. They are only allowing 89 yards per game on the ground. This Broncos defense should be able to smother Washington. Their offensive line's beat up and young. Got a couple good guys, but since then, they're out of whack. Injuries have been the story for Washington. If Vance Joseph can hone in to stopping these two running backs in Krosky Merritt and Rodriguez Jr., it's going to be a long night for Marcus Mariota. I fear a Geno Smith type performance where you see Mariota barely walking on the field. He's going to get knocked around good.
Well, I mean, you look at the numbers on paper, they've got a good rushing game. But you dig a little deeper and you look at Jaden Daniels and you look at Mariota. They are about a quarter or more of that rushing offense. So
right.
you look at it, you're like, yeah, pretty good. But it's the quarterbacks that are running a lot more. And like you said, Jaden Daniels, I'm sure a lot of them are design runs, things like that. Mariota probably not as much. He can still run, but not the threat Jaden Daniels is anymore. So, it's a bit inflated by those quarterbacks. And that doesn't bother me. If a quarterback runs, fine, let him run. I'd rather stop the rush, stop the pass. You get a couple cheap runs out of a quarterback. That's not usually going to kill you if everything else is going right. So I'm not too worried about the running game. And again, this is a passing league. The Broncos have a relentless pass rush. Mariota is not a starting quarterback, and that usually means you're not a starting quarterback. Typically you're a career backup because you throw interceptions, you make the wrong decision, and under pressure, that's what's going to happen with Mariota if they can generate the pass rush that they've been doing all year.
Well, Broncos country, help me out. Scott, Tom, anybody. I feel like I remember a game like 2 or 3 years ago where Vance Joseph, maybe it was longer than that. Maybe Vance Joseph was the head coach. The Tennessee Titans came to Denver. They beat the Broncos, and Marcus Mariota played like garbage in that game. The reason I remember that is because I feel like people were calling for Marcus Mariota to be benched after the Titans beat the Broncos in Denver. I'm not saying the same thing's going to happen or lightning strikes twice or doesn't strike twice in Marcus Mariota's case, but the tail of the tape is out on this guy. If the Denver defense is going to get embarrassed by Marcus Mariota, big problems are happening in the Mile High City come Monday morning. I don't see that happening. The focus truly is on Sean and Bo. What can they do with this offense coming off of a stellar Chiefs performance in the fourth quarter? The comeback kid, Bo Nix, right? And not to give away all my keys to victory, but I think Bo Nix has a really cool challenge this week in going against Bobby Wagner. And we were talking about this before the show started. I'm not suggesting this is going to be a Peyton Manning versus Ray Lewis thing, but you've got green dot versus green dot. Bobby Wagner, still the leading tackler of the Washington Commanders, playing like a dog at age 100. Reunited with Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's calling the plays for Washington again since demoting his DC 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's going to be a nice little chess match to see where Bo Nix maturation is, to see where Sean Payton is with his level of game planning. Washington's coming off of a bye too, Tom. So I don't want to take this game lightly. I'm excited for it, but I feel like the Broncos have something to prove, especially since they stunk up the joint against the Las Vegas Raiders on Thursday Night Football. I mean, this has to be a game where you need to right some wrongs. Unfortunately, Washington, they're going to catch all the hell.
So, yeah, Scott's put it in there. 16-0 was the score. Mariota was 7 for 18 for 63 yards, 2 interceptions in that game in 2019. That is awful. And you look at Mariota right now. He started 5 games. He's thrown 5 interceptions. And that's where the Broncos really, for my only real criticism of this Broncos defense, is they are not taking the ball away. That if they can even just start to do that a little bit more, like maybe get closer to the average of teams, because I think they only have 9 takeaways on the year. That's not very many for the caliber of defense. So if they can get that going, man, this defense is going to be.
How do they do that, Tom? Let me push back on that a little bit, because when you say takeaways, I hate to admit it, but like just the immature or novel side of me just wants to say interceptions, but that's not it. They've got such a like nasty defensive pass rush. Can we get some forced fumbles around here?
Yeah.
Can we get some strip sacks around here? I'm reading articles about Von Miller reaching out to George Payton this offseason saying, hey, coach, I'd like to be a Bronco. Or, hey, George, I'd like to be a Bronco. And George kind of, okay, Von, good luck. That guy could get forced fumbles. DeMarcus Ware could get forced fumbles. I hate to complain, Tom. I do. I hate to complain, but if I have to complain, can Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, Zach Allen, JFM, our new rich guy, Malcolm Roach, right? Can these guys get some forced fumbles, or how do we get takeaways for the Broncos defense? It's hard to get interceptions when you're getting DPI, Riley Moss, on every single play.
Well, the ball doesn't bounce the right way sometimes. I've seen a couple where Nick Bonito looked like he knocked the ball loose, but it just kind of bounced right back to the quarterback, into his arms, whatever. So sometimes it's the ball bouncing the wrong way, but it is a concerted effort to punch the ball, whether you're at a sack or you're making a tackle. Now, I don't want them to, sacrifice a run because they're going for the ball instead of making the tackle. But it is, I mean, that the peanut punch, Charles Tillman, he was one of he was the leader of anyone that wasn't like an edge rusher in forced fumbles in the NFL history, because he would always take that arm and punch at the ball. Now, whether they're teaching that or not teaching that,
I think he was our FBI extraordinaire too, Charles Tillman, right? If memory serves, not only did he get the peanut punch, but also, is an FBI agent or actively in law enforcement. Hard to say. And guys, speaking of that, real quick, as we clean up a couple technical difficulties, thoughts and prayers to our National Guard, right? Who experienced severe loss today in our country right before Thanksgiving. So thoughts and prayers to our National Guard, and thank you to all of our men and women in the United States military who allow us to do what we do every single day and live in a beautiful, free country. And speaking of that, Camden being very, very patient on MHI tonight, weighing in, an exclusive member of the MHH community, a very generous $10. What's up, Broncos country? I'm glad that Will Lutz, Luke Wattenberg, and Malcolm Roach got their money. It's very well deserved. Does the Roach extension put the nail in the coffin for a JFM extension? It's so hard to say, Camden, and I'm confused because I want Jonathan Franklin Myers here too, but I think Tom's onto something. I think the Broncos know what number JFM wants, and for whatever reason, they're not willing to go there yet. It's getting late early as we head into December, but by technically skipping JFM on the depth chart and going with Malcolm Roach, even though you can interchange on the defensive line and move your techs around, it does signal to me that JFM is on the outside looking in, Tom.
Yeah, but you think about it, like Javon Kinlaw. We
have just a couple mic issues. Sit tight with us, Camden, as we react here on MHI. The extensions are nice, but it's nice to see that the team is getting ahead of some of these things. With Will Lutz, nice to have a kicker again, right? I mean, we can all appreciate Brandon McManus, and I think he's still doing his thing up in Green Bay, if memory serves. But what a relief to have the kicker figured out, because those don't come around every day either. I think the Australian kicker has worked out quite well. Rookie, right? That was something that we had some concerns about heading into the season. Luke Wattenberg getting paid at the center position. Your starting five is pretty much locked up for Bo Nix and Sean Payton. So Sean can't say he didn't have it his way either. I mean, Sean chose this starting five. GM George Payton helped get some of the financials done with it, but ultimately Sean got his guys, and Malcolm Roach was one of those guys coming over from New Orleans.
Is my mic working now? Still not working? It's working on my end. Maybe you just can't hear me, Luke. Anyway, I'm just going to talk about John Franklin Myers for a second. Javon Kinlaw got $15 million a year, and Jonathan Franklin Myers is about a year older than him, not much older than him. I know the deal was a year ago, but he should garner something close to that if Javon Kinlaw is getting that, because Kinlaw is not nearly as productive as Jonathan Franklin Myers has been the last 2 seasons. So I'm with Jonathan Franklin Myers. It's his last chance to get an extension of sizable amount at his age. This is his last big contract. It's worth trying to make the numbers work. And like I said earlier, I think the Broncos will, if they miss their goal slightly, they will bring him back. But otherwise, they're going to let him test the market, and that's where it is. I just don't think. I mean, the writing is on the wall. If they wanted him back right away, they would have done it. I think they really like Wazirike, and I think they really like Savion Jones, although they've only given him 6 snaps on defense. I don't know how they can, make that assumption that he's going to make this big leap. They need to get him some real game time to see if that really truly is a replacement for Jonathan Franklin Myers. And that's where I think that it's going.
Camden weighing back in. Hufanga could have like 3 to 4 interceptions if he knew how to catch. Yeah, I don't really care, but you're right, Camden. Hufanga's constantly in place, man. That's one thing. I didn't really understand the significance of Hufanga coming over, and I gotta say I was totally wrong. I like Dre Greenlaw. Don't love. I thought he would be more mature, more of an impact player. I didn't think his injuries would play such a big deal, but shame on me, they did. Talanoa Hufanga is a one-man wrecking crew. Whether it's in the run game, coming in the box, this man will do whatever you need him to do. And again, a huge tip of the cap to the Broncos scouting department. I don't think the pro scouting department gets enough credit for Denver right now, at least for some of these free agents. We could talk about some misses. We could talk about Dre a little bit and Evan Ingram and how we wish things were going better. They're not dragging the team down. But when I look at Evan Ingram and Dre Greenlaw, and then you look at guys like Talanoa Hufanga, you look at guys like J.K. Dobbins, you're like, man, maybe we were sleeping a little bit on some of the lesser-known picks, if you will.
Yeah, I think the front office has been stellar for the most part over the last couple of years, with a combination of Peyton and Peyton pulling in the right free agents. Now, like you said, Evan Ingram's kind of a miss, hasn't really produced, but if you look across the board, they've hit on people that we didn't expect. Malcolm Roach is one of them who just got a big deal. You've got Brandon Jones. No one's talking about him because Hufanga is playing with his hair on fire. I mean, the guy's a wrecking crew, but Brandon Jones came in and no one thought he was going to be a massive signing for this team. So Brandon Jones, another big one. So I think they've done a really solid job of bringing in talented free agents, but I also think you can't downplay the people that Sean Payton wanted to bring in early on that helped change the atmosphere of this team, change the losing culture, bring people in who already have bought in that transition now, because they're kind of moving out. There's a very few of them left, although they brought little Jordan Humphrey back. And you're getting this new team that's bought in. So I think a lot of these moves that he's made with free agents has been incredible for this team, along with the drafting that's been happening over the last several years, which has been, obviously they're getting second contracts now. So it's been really good.
Yeah, and that's a huge part of it, man. Seeing Sean Payton meld these veteran free agents with these rookies who are quite literally having to grow before our very eyes a lot of times in the fourth quarter. And not to spill all my tea for my keys, right? But I write about one of those rookies on offense. I'm talking about Pat Bryant. You can read about that at milehighhuddle.com. I'm so impressed with Pat Bryant, Tom. He continues to earn more opportunities in Sean Payton's offense. He continues to get open. He continues to be there in big plays. I just can't say enough good things about Pat Bryant, man. I need some more PB time, some PB in Washington. We got to get after it. And speaking of getting after it, our guy Michael Rinquillo is always getting after it, always showing support and love every single night on all of the shows. And happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, Mike. Just wanted to say hello. We are thankful for you and for all of the support. Quentin Carson, sit tight, buddy. We're going to get to you, man. Appreciate your support as well. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. We will pull up your comment shortly. Broncos country, what are you thankful for? Could it be the 8-game winning streak? Could it be first place in the AFC West, undefeated in prime time, undefeated at home this season, eyeing a potential AFC playoff spot, number one seed? That'd be interesting. It just feels, Tom, I said it a couple weeks ago, it feels like the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos are on a collision course.
Yeah, and it's interesting. For some reason, everyone's not buying into the Broncos, but I just have a hard time buying into the Patriots right now, and I don't know why. I think they're a beatable team because they've had what seemed to be an easy schedule. Now, I don't want to downplay it because they've won them all. They only can play who you are, playing on the schedule, so I don't want to do it. But I feel like New England is a more beatable team than other teams in the playoffs from my mind. So yeah, they might be on a collision course, but they might get bounced early. The Patriots might get bounced early going up against one of these teams who, are kind of tested in the playoffs, the more well-rounded. But I don't want to badmouth them. They're playing great. They're the number 1 seed right now. And then, you can just think back to the good old days when it was Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, playing in the AFC Championship game back when both teams were really good. So it would be interesting to see that happen again. But I'm more worried about other teams in the playoffs than the Patriots.
Can we play a would you rather for a second? But speaking
Sure.
of the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos, because obviously there's a lot of comparisons going on right now. The win streak, competing for the number 1 record, Drake May, Bo Nix, both coming out same draft. Everybody's kind of wondering, and I see like the quarterback roulettes that happens on social media where they're like, what if JJ McCarthy was a Bronco and Bo could have been a Viking? And we know we'll never know. Have fun. It's AI, chat, grok, whatever the hell they call it. Enjoy. How about this, Tom? New England Patriots, Denver Broncos. Who would you rather have? Cortland Sutton or Stephon Diggs?
Oh, yeah, I like Stephon Diggs, but I feel like he is more of a problem than Cortland Sutton is off the field kind of thing. Like I don't think he would fit as good for long term in this locker room the way Cortland Sutton does. And I don't think that it's a big enough gap between them as far as talent that you would put up with that sort of thing. So I would take Cortland Sutton, even though Diggs probably maybe more talented.
I agree with you 100%. And then you look at like another would you rather, if you will. And I think about Hunter Henry or Evan Ingram. And you're like, well, that's pretty obvious. There's a lot more production out of Hunter Henry, right? And there is on paper, and you look at it on a weekly basis, and it makes you kind of shake your head a little bit because you're like, man, missed opportunity there for Denver. We got to get it rolling. But it's interesting, right? Because both teams almost complement each other in opposite problem areas, or what I mean? Like they're parallel, these teams. And that's what makes it so damn interesting when you look at the Patriots and the Broncos. I know everybody's wondering what's going on with the Buffalo Bills. They're going to be okay. Do not worry about the Buffalo Bills. I think it's going to be interesting head coaching wise, how long they're going to kick the Sean McDermott can down the road before we go offense with Josh Allen. Turning over the OC isn't working up there in Buffalo. I hate to say this too, Tom. I like Mike Vrabel. I do. I've always liked Mike Vrabel. There was a time I was wishing he could be the DC for Sean, and there's just no way that could happen. They're 2 alpha dogs in the room, and there's no way that you could have a Sean Payton and Mike Vrabel coaching staff. Say what you want about Vance Joseph and Sean Payton. They found a way to make it work. I mean, the whole coaching staff, really, everybody knows it's kind of Sean's baby, and Sean's going to do what he's going to do. But you're right. It's interesting when you look at both teams, and man, just think about that, Tom. We're talking about number 1 seed in the AFC. I'm thankful for this conversation. I'm thankful for this show. I'm thankful for the season that the Broncos are having. 2025. What an exciting time to be a member of Broncos country.
Yeah, 10 years later, they're back to their winning ways, which, for me, it's nice to see, because my whole fandom for the Broncos, they were winners. I mean, yeah, they had some losing seasons, and but it was all during the Pat Bowlen era. I watched some of the best record in all of team sports, the major sports, throughout my fandom. And then to have this 10-year period where it was really bleak, only to come back and here they are winning again. I'm thankful for it as well. It's been a long time coming because I wasn't used to it. Not like the Lions or Browns fans.
Well, and that's just it. Was it Joe Burrow who came out in the microphone yesterday? He's like, oh, a typical Thanksgiving is you watch the Lions play and Matt Stafford would throw for like 600 yards and 7 touchdowns and Detroit would still lose. That's, exactly. My memories of watching NFL football. And it'll be interesting too, the games too, right? And Thursday and Friday. Why is it still hard for me to get used to Black Friday games? Like I'm so used to the Thursday night slot and everything, but a full slate, if you will, the next few days for NFL football.
Yeah. Friday was for high school football. There was always high school, then college, then it was NFL. So it's like it's weird to see it, but high school football is pretty much wound down now. So you got to slide in. You got to slide in another game in there.
Well, then you've got like the big one, Ohio State and Michigan, I believe, in Ann Arbor on Saturday. That's going to be a big one. I always like watching that game because it's great to see players get ejected and arrested before the game even starts. I mean, the brawls that happen in the hallway, the push, and by brawls I mean the pushing and shoving, right? And a bunch of immature it's fun to see schools hate each other so much like that. I don't know, man. 'Tis the season. What are some of your favorite Thanksgiving traditions? Let us know. I can remember the Broncos on occasion playing some Thanksgiving football. I remember a kid specifically. They went to Dallas one year and played the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, and that was always kind of interesting. The Cowboys, the Lions, that tradition. Washington had played a lot of Thanksgiving games, right? Speaking of the Broncos opponent on Sunday Night Football. I don't know, Tom. What a great holiday to sit around the table, enjoy friends, family, and some good old pigskin, man. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I can't remember not having Thanksgiving Day football. So it's one of those things where it's always there. It's like a comfort food or something. It's like, yep, we've got Thanksgiving football, and it's always the Lions and always the Cowboys and then somebody else. So it's always the same. So it's very reliable.
It's very reliable, and we're hoping the Broncos are going to be reliable with this win streak heading into Washington for Sunday Night Football. It's their final primetime game so far, Tom. The reason I say so far, of course, they played Monday night, beat the Bengals, Thursday night, beat the Raiders, Sunday night against Washington. We'll see what happens. But remember, the very last game of the season against the Chargers, Week 18 home game, that's always subject to be flexed. Right. Yeah. And if you look at the schedule right now, I think there's a big fat TBD to be determined on that game. AFC West, very competitive. The Broncos have a 2-game lead on the Los Angeles Chargers right now. The Chargers are doing everything they can to continue nipping at the Broncos' heels.
Yeah, and they might flex more. I mean, you got the Chiefs if they're relevant, the week before, it's a possible. I think that they could flex that as well. So you might see more. But the Broncos have after these next 2 games, the Commanders and the Raiders, the rest of the teams that they play, I believe, are all playoff contenders right now. So they've got a slate to end the season of teams that are vying for the playoffs. So they very well may have more than 1 or 2 primetime games again.
And I'm bummed we're not going to see Travis too, right? I'm not going to see Travis coming with the Jags Week 16 to Denver, Colorado. I was hoping for that reunion, right? I saw Shador made his first start. Did he win? Did they win that game? I don't know. I don't even keep track anymore.
I don't think they won. I can't remember. I
think
played
they won
pretty well, but I can't remember if they won or lost. I forget.
I think they beat the Raiders, and I think I saw. I think I saw on social media that it was like Mark Davis who allowed Coach Prime in one of the Vegas suites, and I'm just like, good Lord, I get it's an away game, but the Browns can't even get Coach Prime up in the stadium, man. It's wild when you look at it. Jerry Jeudy, did you see his bonehead of a? There was no way, Tom, I was missing MHI this week. And not bringing up a Jerry Jeudy gaffe. What a dope. I heard some people on social media saying that gaffe and the obviously fumble that he allowed to happen felt a little intentional. I don't know about that. There's all kinds of investigations in the NBA, NCAA, everything else, people throwing games. I'm not saying that. No accusations. But Jerry Jeudy, what a dope.
Well, I mean, we were talking about things happening in the past and, with the other teams until Sean Payton came on board, and you have Jerry Jeudy. He just doesn't have it upstairs. He's fighting with Broncos legends. And I think I said he had more fights with Broncos legends than he did touchdowns that season. And, so he has one good year and then he's back to his same ways, what the heck, man? This guy could have been a star. He was primed to be a star in the NFL. And for some reason, he just doesn't have it mentally and he can't put it all together. And then he goes out and does something like that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not on that team next year.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really, really tough. And I don't feel bad for him. It's part of it. I'm just glad that, like you said, Tom, that there aren't distractions in Denver's locker room right now. They seem so laser focused on what it is they want to accomplish, and only they know who that is or what that is. We think we know what it is. We think this team's championship ready because Sean told us they were all summer long.
Well, they are. They're looking like they look like they can make a run at it for sure.
Give way too early prediction, Tom. Way too early prediction. AFC Championship game. What are you thinking? Denver Broncos versus
Denver Broncos. I'm going to say the Bills. I think the Bills. The Colts are a good team, but they just don't. I just don't feel like they've got enough experience in that. If they don't have the number one seed, they may not advance. Let's say it's the Broncos versus the Bills, unless the freaking Chiefs sneak into the playoffs.
I don't know when. That's a really good point. And I've been thinking about the Colts, right? Especially watching Chiefs Colts last week. And I think, and I'm sure the Broncos are thinking the same thing during their bye. Like, man, we would love another crack at Indy. We really would. And that was their big snafu as a defense, and allowing Jonathan Taylor to get 165 yards on the ground. That didn't happen again. Not even 100-yard rushers ever happened again since then. I mean, so I think that would be a fun matchup. The collision course with the Patriots, I don't know when, if, or how that would happen with the seeds, right? Depending on when they would see each other. I would surmise it'd be in the AFC Championship game. It's so fun when you look at the NFL, right? What a league of parody. You have no idea. And I saw some guys and gals predicting Super Bowl matchups, right? And I see a lot of this one, Tom. Tell me what you think about this. Lofty. I'm not doing it. You're not doing it. We're playing a little pie in the sky. Speaking of pie, Thanksgiving moment here, right? LA Rams, Denver Broncos. Could you see a universe there?
Yeah. I mean, the Rams are playing great. And you got Matthew Stafford's having one of his best seasons, I think, in his career. I mean, he's a definitely MVP candidate. So yeah, I think the Rams could definitely sneak in there. My thing is, if the Broncos are going to go to the Super Bowl, I hope it's somebody that they beat, obviously, that beat them in the past. So the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, or the 49ers or something. Get some revenge. That's what I'm hoping for. Some revenge.
That would be nice, and that would be sweet. Money Moore coming in. Hey, a fear that I've got is the Broncos settling for number 2, the Chiefs squeaking in for a 7, immediate Broncos versus Chiefs wild card. Sign me up, Money Moore, for that one. Not because I think the Broncos can steamroll the Chiefs, but because what a true statement of a game. I know everybody thinks, and I don't know, Tom, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, that the dynasty is over in Kansas City. And I got to tell you, I don't feel that way. This is a Chiefs team that is struggling to win road games this year. I think they've only won 1 game, maybe 2 on the road. That's their problem. Unless they're playing with the refs in Arrowhead, they seem to have some struggles. You have Pat Mahomes, you have Andy Reid. I know they're kind of taking shots at each other, right? The quarterback's not running the ball when we call the running plays, and Pat Mahomes, they allow their quarterback to do what they want. They're having some rocky issues there, and we can blame it on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce because it's their fault.
Yeah,
this is a team that is still dangerous, and what better way to shut the dynasty conversation, if you will, than a playoff game? I hear you, Money Moore. I hear you. It's 3 times for the Broncos and the Chiefs in 1 year. This is who you designed your roster to combat, Kansas City. And while you can't count them out, you have to take care of business, and it starts against Washington on Sunday night.
Yeah, and that was the whole argument, was you want the Colts to beat the Chiefs or the Chiefs to beat the Colts because you get a higher seeding. And I'm like, I was saying, I'm not afraid of going on the road to Indy. I know they're a good team, but when you have the Chiefs
it's hard to win in Indy, Tom. You know that the Broncos are haunted.
Are battle tested in the playoffs. Obviously, they made it to 3 straight Super Bowls. They were in the AFC Championship game for 7 years in a row or something like that. This is a team that is a Hall of Fame coach. I know Pat Mahomes is living on his past accomplishments. He's kind of playing average now, but that's when you get a team like that in the playoffs and they start playing their best football again. That's why I don't want him even anywhere near the playoffs. And yes, I know that you want the Broncos to beat him in the playoffs to step ahead, but I would rather have an easier path myself. And I don't want, and the dynasty is dead if they don't even make the playoffs, right? They're not even good enough to get in the playoffs, let alone get beat in the playoffs. That's what I want. I want the Chiefs, buried in Cancun before the playoffs start.
Yeah, let the wedding start a little early. Let's keep the planning going, if you will. All right. No need for the postseason, boys. Y'all have a wedding to plan. Well, here's another fun aspect of it, Tom. You talk about this on the show constantly. How fortunate the Broncos have been in the health department, and how grateful and thankful are we to report that Pat Surtain returned to the practice field today. He was limited with that pectoral injury, that same pectoral injury we feared weeks ago would land him on IR. It hasn't. He was limited with a pec today. Can't wait to see progression for Pat Surtain. Jonah Ellis also returned, outside linebacker with a hamstring. He was limited today. Our guy Alex Singleton, starting linebacker, is returning from that illness, right? That testicular cancer scare diagnosis that Alex underwent surgery for. And he was full today as well. Jonathan Cooper with a thumb. My guy Pat Bryant with the shoulder. They were all full as well. You only had one Denver Bronco that did not practice on the report today, Tom. Tight end Nate Atkins. He was out with a knee. Yep. You look at Washington, they are banged up. I'm looking at maybe 12 guys on this list right here. And yeah, Jaden Daniels returned to practice with the elbow. He was limited, but we are expecting Marcus Mariota to take those reps in Washington. Laramie Tunsil popped up on the injury report, starting tackle, non-injury related, a rest day for the big cat. And Washington's banged up, Tom. They're looking nasty. Denver's healthy.
And don't forget, too, you've got the reports are that Ben Powers was out on the field, not practicing. Of course, he's still on IR, but, stretching. It looks like he's getting ready for that return. And I know I love Alex Palczewski, and I love him. But Ben Powers is probably an upgrade. So you bring him back in. You got Drew Sanders. Looks like he's maybe starting to get healthy too. So the people that have been on IR for a while, they're starting to come back now. And so hopefully you're going to see this team more at full strength at the end of the season than these other teams that seem like they're losing more and more. So yeah, they're kind of coming back at the right time. They're playing the IR game right, like not putting Pat Surtain on there. You get an extra game. I think they're handling it okay. And Alex Singleton's another one. They didn't put him on IR. He's back. He came back a little earlier than expected. So I think it's you're right. I think the health is going to be a big factor in the playoffs as long as nobody else goes down. Although, as Michael Rodkeel points out, they do have an issue at running back. J.K. Dobbins is gone, and this is the time that Harvey needs to step up, man. They cannot have the running game that they had last week and expect to go deep in the playoffs without J.K. Dobbins. Not last
100%. All the good juju has coach putting more good juju into the universe, right? Good karma from Sean Payton. I don't know if he learned the voodoo down there in New Orleans or what, but we need some good voodoo, some good juju. And Sean's been asked about running back J.K. Dobbins, who underwent surgery just earlier this month, a couple of weeks ago, to repair Liz Frank injury in his foot. Now, it was initially believed that the diagnosis was set for him to miss the rest of the season. Well, Coach Sean Payton today volunteered that J.K. Dobbins could return this season. Quote, "It wouldn't be soon, but that has a chance to happen." End quote from Sean Payton, leaving it out there that maybe J.K. Dobbins comes back. I would be shocked if you saw J.K. Dobbins return. This is truly R.J. Harvey's show. He needs to run with it. Tyler Bidet, you're up. How about Jaleel McLaughlin, Tom, on the way out? Real deal Jaleel should be well rested. We need some lightning to see our guy.
Yeah. I just want to point out one thing before I jump on that. Remember when IR they were done for the season? Like, you lost a guy and they were gone, and now they're not. I love it. I love that you can bring these folks back, because that really makes for better football and it helps teams that had these injuries early on. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't impressed with any of the running backs against the Chiefs before the bye. I thought they didn't look very good at all. Maybe that McLaughlin just needs to get more reps in there. But yeah, I think it's RJ Harvey. He needs to step up to make this running game go. I'm not looking for Bidet or McLaughlin to save this running game by any means at all. They're a nice kind of change of pace, maybe someone that can come in and get you a few, but it's RJ Harvey has got to earn his money these last few weeks of the season and going into the playoffs.
And that starts with Sean Payton. Don't overcomplicate this run offense that continues to worsen every week. I mean, there was a time for the majority of the season, the Broncos were a top 5, top 10 rushing offense. Each week, they kind of keep taking a step back. Sean, keep it simple, Sean. No stupid. Kiss. Keep it simple, Sean. That's going to be almost a wrap for us as we get our final 1-minute warning in here for MHI. Guys, head on over to milehighhuddle.com. We're going to have our roundtable picks up on Friday morning. I see everybody asking us what our prediction's going to be. You're going to have to stay tuned to milehighhuddle.com. We will have those up on Friday morning. I have a Keys to Victory article coming out tomorrow. I take you through 3 critical matchups in which the Broncos beat Washington on Sunday Night Football. Another fun show. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I'm very thankful for this show. I'm thankful to Tom, Scott, Chad, our entire platform and publication, and most of all to you, Broncos country. This is such an outlet for me personally, right? To come on here and yell at Tom for a whole hour. It's a lot of fun every single week. I appreciate everybody allowing me the opportunity to do it. Very, very grateful to be a member of Broncos country and be a member of this show. Thank you.
Yeah, and I echo that, Luke. It's been an honor to be on the show with you, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for having an outlet, and I'm thankful for everyone that comes in here and listens to us. Whether you agree with us or not, you come here every evening to listen to us, and that means a lot. So thank you so much.
We have a lot of fun on this show. We have more fun ahead, Broncos country, as we turn the page in November. We will be coming at you next Wednesday, December. What are we going to be in, Tom? Week 14 at the Raiders. We're going to have to get past these Commanders and travel into Sin City. But for now, Broncos country into Sunday Night Football. This is the way.
This is the way.